Hello and welcome to Landia. Today, I would like to talk about feeling emotions and the capacity of being sensitive or emotional as a strength. I think we kind of demonized and dehumanize ourselves in the journey of feeling emotions by saying like it's a weakness or that you are wrong for feeling strong emotions or that you shouldn't feel strong emotions. And I kind of want to break down what the process of feeling emotions is. The process of feeling emotions is you processing an experience, especially if we are relating to intense emotions such as sadness, anger, all of those strong emotions, right? Usually, that is a processing of traumatic experiences, and feeling emotions is basically you processing what happened to you and you are letting go of that experience. When you experience something traumatic, something that is basically overwhelming to your nervous system, you go into survival mode. In this survival mode, all you care about is surviving. You are not feeling your emotions in survival mode because your body is occupied and preoccupied in surviving. So your body goes to basic needs for you to survive. And in this state of experiencing trauma, you do not process emotions because your body is in survival. So your body is just focusing on how it can survive, and it does not have space, time, or safety to feel emotions. After this traumatic experience, even though you are out of this traumatic experience, your body will still be in survival. Your body is in survival while you are not feeling your emotions. If something traumatic happened to you, especially when you were a kid, and you do not process your emotions, your body is in perpetual survival. You are not able to process your emotions and you are escaping them or rejecting them because you don't yet feel safe to process your experiences. And for a lot of people, this goes for a lifetime. For a lot of people, they live all their life in survival without being able to process their experiences. For example, if you are a kid and you experience a lot of trauma, that's usually the case for most of us, right? What happens after you leave that experience? What happens after you leave that house? What happens after you leave that traumatic environment? You might have left the environment of person that traumatized you, but that doesn't mean that you are safe because safety is a state of mind. If you experience some sort of trauma, and if we are unaware and unconsciously going through life, that's usually most of the times the case. What happens here is that we are still living in a survival state. So, in this survival state, our experiences are going to our unconscious mind. They're going to basically the back of our mind because our mind and our body is preoccupied in surviving, even if we are no longer in that environment. Because we have not processed that experience, our mind still believes that is in survival because safety and processing your emotions is a state of mind. If our mind believes that we are still in that environment, if our mind has not yet processed what happened to us, it will still believe that it's living in that environment. Even if we are not, our mind will believe it is. What happens here is even if we escape that traumatic environment of that person, our mind, if we don't have yet processed the experience, our mind still believes that is living that experience. This is an unconscious belief. This is not something consciously that we are aware of, because everything is happening in the unconscious mind because we have rejected that experience and those emotions. Nothing wrong with that. Is a way to survive. Our body and mind does that as instinct. So basically, that experience goes through the back of our minds, and we are unconsciously moving through life like we are still in that environment. And basically, this leads us to repeat the same cycle unconsciously. This leads us to be attracted to the same type of people as the traumatic people. This leads us to be attracted to the same environment as the traumatic environment, because our mind still believes that is living in it. Because in our mind, we are still surviving. Because in our mind, we never left that place, because we have not yet processed those emotions and processed that experience. Our mind can only know that we are not in that environment when we process the experience, when we feel the pain that comes with that experience, when we see the truth behind that experience. However, this can only be done with safety. So, if we have unprocessed wounds, an unprocessed traumatic experience, for example, from our childhood, and we go about life, even though that we have escaped that environment, because we have not yet faced and saw the truth of our experience, our unconscious mind is kind of dictating our actions without us realizing, and we are replicating and mimicking the same behaviors and same patterns in our lives. And what this causes is more unsafety. So basically, our body and mind doesn't not have the space to create safety, and safety is the thing that will allow you to feel your emotions. Without safety, with your body still being in survival, you are unable to feel your emotions and therefore process that experience. So what happens here if we live in constant survival is that something traumatic happened in childhood. And because we have not yet found safety and we have not yet faced what happened to us, we internalize it as normal. Is that like mentality? Oh, everything was fine. I'm going to reject my emotions. I'm going to suppress. No worries. I'm fine. And what happens here is that our unconscious mind is mimicking and replicating patterns of that traumatic experience. So we are in perpetual unsafety because our mind is still in survival. Our mind still believes that that experience is happening. And what our mind believes, it becomes our reality. So what happens here is that even though you're not feeling your emotions, even though you consciously think, everything is fine, I'm fine now. Don't worry, it's like I don't feel the pain, it's fine. Our unconscious mind is creating a lot of our actions, even if we're not aware of. That's why generational trauma happens. That's why it's very common for people to mimic similar patterns of childhood in adulthood. It's like that vibe of, for example, you had some traumatic experience with your parents, and then you find yourself later in life experience the same thing in your relationship. And this is why, because our mind believes that this is our reality. So our mind is attracted to that reality because our mind is still living in that reality, even if this is very unconscious. And this way of life is a way of rejecting the emotions, not feeling the emotions. And it's basically you are in survival mode. You live the rest of your life surviving, not able to overcome that experience, not able to change and choose something different for yourself. And this is also a life where you don't understand it, you don't see this, but your unconscious mind has more power over your actions than you realize. In a lot of ways, you have less free will because your conscious mind is dictating a lot of your actions without you even realizing. So, in this life, that I think is the life that most live people live, because again, they are not safe and they were not able to process. This is kind of the status quo of most people. This is the normality of most people, right? Feeling emotions and the capacity of being sensitive and the capacity of being emotional and the capacity of accepting and feeling your emotions is actually a great sign. It is a sign that you are processing your experiences. It is a sign that you somehow created safety, that you somehow had the strength and the resilience to create safety, and you had the strength and the resilience to really see what happened to you in that traumatic experience. You had the strength and the resilience to sit with the pain that that experience brought you. And this capacity of feeling emotions, it is actually an act of strength and an act of resilience. Like, it actually means that your body and mind is very resilient and can endure a lot, because if somehow you experience trauma and if somehow you found safety, even if this is like something that you do unconsciously and naturally, it means that your body is and mind is able to process a lot. It's able to find safety in unsafety, is able to process emotions, experience those emotions, and let go of that experience, because basically emotions is just letting go of that experience. When you feel something, you're basically letting go of it and you are processing it so you can move forward to new behaviors, to new patterns of behavior, so you can move forward to new cycles without repeating the same old cycles. So the capacity of being sensitive and the capacity to feel emotions, it is basically the capacity of creating safety and the capacity to process traumatic experience. It is a very good thing and it is extremely healthy. Basically, if you have the capacity to feel emotions, if you have capacity to cry, if you have the capacity to feel emotions, to feel anger, to feel all those emotions, this means that you have the capacity to process. This means that you create safety in the unsafety. It actually means that your body and mind are able to process a lot more information, is able to endure a lot of more experiences. This is kind of two-sided coin, in the sense that it is great that you are sensitive because it means that you are process more experiences. But yes, it also means that you have more capacity to process more trauma, basically. Usually the people that are the kindest, right? The people that are the most loving, they usually have the most trauma. They usually have the most difficult lives. And it is because of that, because they are capable of experiencing more experiences, and they are capable of experience more adversity, right? So the capacity to feel emotion is actually a very good sign. It means that you are able to go through the process of experiencing an experience, processing it, finding safety within it, processing it, and let it go so you can move into a new cycle and pattern of behavior. What happens here is that when you feel emotions and when you are able to process, you are letting go of that experience. Basically, emotions is kind of the unconscious mind speaking to us, is the process of bringing something that is on the unconscious to the conscious, because when you reach the conscious, you can consciously let it go and you can consciously create a new pattern of behavior. Emotions is basically communicating to us an unconscious belief, an unconscious experience that is so back in our unconscious mind that we don't understand it yet. So feeling your emotions is kind of the process of cleaning your unconscious mind, is the process of letting go. And when it reaches the conscious mind, you have higher free will. You actually have more control over your actions. Again, this is also your a misconception about emotions that when you are emotional, you have less control over yourself. Actually, it's quite the opposite. When you reject your emotions, your mind thinks, your conscious mind thinks that you have more control, but you actually don't, because your unconscious mind is replicating patterns and you have less free will and less control over your actions. When you are capable of feeling emotions, actually you have more control over your actions, because basically you are clearing your unconscious mind. So your unconscious mind has less belief systems. So he has less things to run with, and your conscious mind can take more space in your psyche. So you can take more actions that are conscious. When you reject emotions, you take more actions that are unconscious, that usually is replicating the patterns that you have lived. And when you feel emotions, because you are clearing and let it go, your unconscious mind has more space in your psyche, so you can take more actions according to your conscious mind. And what happens here is that if you have the power to feel emotions, if you can feel your emotions, basically you can experience a new cycle with more consciousness. So, if you process a pattern or behavior like a traumatic experience, and if you feel your emotions and you let them go, and let them go basically is feeling your emotions until they have no feeling, is crying it all out, screaming it all out, feeling it all out until there is nothing left, basically. When you do that, basically you can more consciously enter a new pattern of behavior. So have more power over your psyche, and more power over your psyche is more power over your actions, because your actions is a reflection of your belief systems. You act in the world according to what you believe. So when you clear out that unconscious mind by feeling your emotions, when you clear out those belief systems and traumatic experience, you can then with awareness, with intention, set up new belief systems. You can say, hey, I live an abundant life. I live a safe life. I live a life that I'm free. How can I live this life according to that belief system? So you can create new patterns of behavior in your life, and you can create new cycles in your life with more intentionality, with more awareness, basically with more conscious awareness. And this is why feeling emotion is such a strength and is so resilient, that yes, it might lead you to experience a variety of different experience, because again, your mind is more free to experience something new. Your actions are looking for something new. Also, people that feel emotions change easily, like they're always upgrading, evolving, growing, because again, that is the process of feeling emotions. Feeling emotions is just processing an experience and letting go of the experience, so you can experience something different, so you can experience something new. So it is actually a very good thing if you are like naturally inclined feeling emotions and naturally sensitive. It actually shows a lot of strength, a lot of resilience, a lot of overcoming a lot of different experiences. And I think, for example, when somebody projects that feeling emotions is weakness, you are weak for feeling emotions, they are basically projecting their own belief systems onto you. What they are saying here is that they feel too weak to feel emotions. Again, our belief systems dictate our actions in the world. The way that we see the world is the way that we see ourselves. When somebody speaks to you, they are not speaking about you, they are speaking about themselves. You get to know someone not by their description of self, not by them saying, I'm this and that. No, you get to know someone by the way that they describe the world, the words that they use, the connotations that they add to the outside world. That's how you get to know someone. You know someone deeply, even more deeply than they know themselves, by hearing what they say, the words that they use, the emotional connotation behind it. Because again, they see the world as they see themselves. And actually, a very good way also to get to know yourself, because it's hard to see oneself. It's hard to see ourselves because we have a lot of biases, a lot of internal biases, and a lot of internal projections. So it's hard to say, really, we are this person when we are that person by just looking to ourselves. A good way to get to know yourself is to see how you describe the world, how you judge the world. The way you judge the world is the way that you judge yourself. And through that, you can also see the way that you are, who you are as a person, is by seeing how you describe the world and how you see the world. So when somebody says stuff like it's weakness to feel emotion, or I'm trying to think other things that people say about emotions, like it's wrong or you shouldn't. What they're really saying is, I feel weak to feel emotions. I feel like if I feel emotions, I'm going to see what's wrong was done to me. I feel like I shouldn't feel my emotions because I'm scared to see what happened to me. Basically, this is all projections of people that are projecting onto to us their own fears. And because most people are living in survival, this is the norm. This is the normal at this point. Rejecting your emotions, living in perpetual survival, it is the normal. And when you feel emotions, you are going really against the grain because you are deciding, hey, I don't want to live in survival mode. I don't want to live in this perpetual cyclical behavior of trauma. No, thank you. I want to choose different. And also the thing of, you changed, like there's something wrong with it, you always changing, like there's something wrong with that. This is actually a very good sign. Changing is a sign, a very healthy sign that you are evolving and growing, not only in your physicality, but also in your mental. You are only not changing because you're not feeling your emotions, because you have not yet felt safe, and you remain the same person because you are avoiding feeling emotions. Then again, there is nothing wrong with avoiding feeling emotions, because this all comes from a very instinctual and survival state where that you're trying to do is survive, and that's completely valid and that's completely fair. However, I think there is a big issue here that we are projecting that a lot onto other people, especially to people that have the strength to feel emotions. And we view overall the societally collective view that feeling emotions is bad, when really it's a sign of resilience, of strength, and is a sign that you are processing your experiences and that you are choosing a different life for yourself, and that you want to live a fulfilling life, and that you want to live a life that is satisfying and healthy for you, that you are choosing to not live in survival. But in a world where everyone is living in survival, you choosing not to, you choosing to live an healthy life, I mean, it comes with a lot of diversity, because it's also highlighting the people that are living in survival. Even they are not conscious of it, unconsciously they know that they should be doing the same for their own health. Unconsciously, they know that's the path that I need to take, but they have not yet the safety. They don't have yet the mental safety to start processing those emotions. And that's why I think it's important to highlight that feeling emotions is healthy, because that's the first step to creating safety. That's a first step to processing traumatic experience, and to let go of this traumatic experience is to start slowly tapping into your emotions, start slowly feeling your emotions. And there should be more awareness that feeling your emotions is actually healthy, and we should create more space and more time to feel our emotions, or at least, even if we don't create a space in society, at least not demonize it, at least not dehumanize it, at least not have this, oh, it's so wrong to feel emotions, like you're crazy or something, when in reality, no, you are choosing to evolve, you are choosing to let go, you are choosing to not live in survival, you are choosing different for yourself. And that takes a lot of strength, courage and resilience. So, yeah, in conclusion, feeling emotions is a way to process your experiences and is a way to let go of your experience so you can choose a new cycle of behavior. When people project onto you feeling emotions is weakness or you shouldn't feel emotions, it is a reflection of themselves. It has nothing to do with you. Basically, they are seeing themselves as not strong enough to feel emotions. Basically, they are seeing them not having the courage and the strength to feel those emotions, and they are projecting that onto you. I think there should be more space and we should prioritize to some level feel emotions, and there should be more focus and effort into feeling your emotions, because that is what is going to lead you to let go. That is what is going to make you process an experience, let go of your experience so you can start a new, healthier, more fulfilling experience. Let me know down in the comments if you resonate with this message. If you like this video, give it a like. And if you like this content, subscribe. Bye.